The NBA playoffs. The time of year when dreams are made, legacies are written, and at least one team gets completely embarrassed in front of millions. Which matchups will make or break a contender? Who's about to walk into a buzzsaw? And which teams are just hoping to avoid playoff humiliation? Let's break it all down with our highly unscientific, completely biased, and questionably accurate playoff matchup breakdown. All right, let's do a quick playoff reality check. The Lakers are rolling along thanks to their dynamic duo of LeBron James and Luka Doncic, who I assume have fused into one unstoppable basketball cyborg named LeBroncic. The Warriors? Still dangerous as long as Steph Curry keeps bending the laws of physics.
Steph Curry nails a three-pointer with 7/10 of a second remaining.
The Timberwolves? Possibly waking up from their decade-long nap. Meanwhile, the Nuggets are still great.
Gets the first.
But they're moving just a tad slower, like your uncle at a family barbecue after his third plate of ribs. The Thunder, on the other hand, just ran Denver out of the building like they had dinner reservations, defeated the Celtics on the parquet floor, and they're just rolling right along.
Gilgeous-Alexander finally on the board.
And then there's Memphis. Let's be honest, without Jaren Jackson Jr., they're just here for the vibes. Now, let's talk about the biggest wild card, the LeBron injury. The King is currently out, which raises the million-dollar question. Will the time off help him recharge for a deep playoff run? Or will the Lakers struggle to hold their seed in his absence? Luka can carry a team, but can he keep them high enough in the standings to avoid a brutal early round matchup? If the Lakers slip too far, LeBron might have to go full Game 6 Miami mode just to get them back on track. So what does all this mean? Boston looks terrifying. Cleveland is stacking win streaks like they're playing My Career on rookie mode, and the West is shaping up to be an all-out brawl. Time to break it all down and figure out who's got the easiest path and who's about to suffer. Let's get into it. All right, let's talk about the one seeds. The Thunder, locked in. The Cavs, also locked in. Even when their star guards have an off night, they're still handling good teams like they're NPCs in a tutorial level. Case in point. They had a rough shooting night against Milwaukee and still won by 12. Yikes. In the East, the Celtics are pretty much locked into the 2 seed, which means we're heading towards a Cavs-Celtics showdown in the conference finals unless something crazy happens. Insert Knicks fan delusion here. But the West, that's where things get messy. The Thunder are the top dogs, but right behind them, you got the Lakers, Nuggets, and Warriors in a 3-way battle for the coveted 2 and 3 seeds. Memphis and Houston are technically ahead of Golden State right now, but let's be real. Steph and company are heating up like microwave leftovers, and one of those teams is probably getting leapfrogged.
15. Steph Curry. He's got that.
Now let's talk about spicy matchups. If the Warriors secure the 4 or 5 seed, we might get another Warriors-Grizzlies playoff brawl. That means another round of Draymond trolling, Memphis playing the underdog role, and Twitter and X being completely unbearable for 2 weeks. And if Golden State survives that, they get to play the Thunder's endless waves of defense, scoring, and energy.
Curry 3. Got it.
Could Steph and company pull off one last lesson in playoff clutch magic, or will OKC run them out of the gym? Stay tuned, because the West is about to be absolute chaos.
Good. It's over.
All right, let's set the stage. The Lakers versus Nuggets matchup in round 2 seems like a lock unless the Clippers pull off a playoff shocker, which, let's be honest, it's about as likely as Charles Barkley complimenting San Antonio. The Lakers, assuming LeBron returns healthy, have too many ways to score. Luka is running the show.
Tough shot. Oh, Luka Doncic. That's a little magic.
LeBron picks his moments, and guys like Gabe Vincent, Dalton Knecht, and Jordan Goodwin are actually doing things off the bench. Throw in Jackson Hayes and Dorian Finney-Smith, playing defense like their next contract depends on it. And this team is deep. With Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, they have weapons firing at all cylinders.
Corner three, late challenge, and good one.
But will LeBron's time off leave them refreshed for a title run, or will they slide in the standings and end up in a brutal first-round battle? Now let's talk wrenches. If there's one team that could ruin this entire bracket, it's Minnesota. These dudes bounced Denver last year in 7 games, and while Karl Anthony Towns is gone, they plugged in Julius Randle, who's been handing out 9 assist nights like he's Chris Paul. With Randle's offense, Rudy Gobert's defense, and Mike Conley being the responsible adult in the room, they are a real threat. Oh, and don't forget Anthony Edwards. If they get hot at the right time, they could wreck someone's season again. Then there's Houston. Okay, look, they've surprised everyone by sticking around in the standings. But do they have an answer for Nikola Jokic? Nope. Unless they can somehow convince prime Akeem Olajuwon to come out of retirement, they're in trouble against Denver. The Rockets are fun, but they don't have the size or experience to slow down the reigning MVP and his Jedi mind trick passing. So what's the bottom line? If Minnesota climbs into the 4-5 matchup, they're a legitimate problem. If Houston or Memphis end up there instead, Denver's looking at a smooth ride to round 2. All right, let's shift over to the East, where matchups will decide everything, especially for the Pacers, Bucks, and Pistons, who are all hovering around the 4-6 seed battle like kids waiting for their turn on the monkey bars. Here's what we know. The Knicks don't want the Bucks. Giannis and Dame in a first-round series? That's a total nightmare. But the Pistons, oh, New York will happily take that matchup and wrap it up in a bow. Detroit's got a ton of young talent, but their collective playoff experience is about as extensive as a 10-day contract. If the Knicks get them in the first round, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby, and turn it into a short and painful learning experience. That is, of course, when and if Brunson has a full recovery. But if Milwaukee slides into the 6th seed, now things get interesting. Giannis and Dame in a Game 7? Yeah, nobody wants that smoke. And let's not forget, the Knicks lost to Indiana last year. Granted, that was without Cat, Bridges, or a healthy Anunoby. But still, this team hasn't proven they can take out the East heavyweights yet. So what's the dream scenario for New York? Pistons in the first round, Pacers in the second, and the Celtics mysterious eliminated before the conference finals. Unfortunately for them, reality might have other plans. All right, let's wrap this up. In the West, the Lakers and Nuggets are jostling for the 2-3 seeds, both desperately trying to avoid OKC for as long as possible, because nobody wants to deal with that defensive buzzsaw until absolutely necessary. Meanwhile, Golden State versus OKC in the second round could be a classic. Youth versus experience, speed versus shooting.
3 and nails it.
Thunder versus the team that kind of created them in the first place. And then there's Minnesota, the wild card that could either haunt the 3 seeds' dreams or crash it into the 4-5 matchup with Golden State or Memphis. When they're locked in, they can take down anyone. But the question is, which version of the Wolves will show up? Over in the East, Boston and Cleveland look like they're on a collision course for the conference finals. But the Knicks are lurking like a New York subway rat that refuses to go away. They want the Pistons in round 1, do not want to deal with Giannis in round 2, and are praying that Boston and Cleveland wear each other out before they get there. And let's not forget Milwaukee. If the Bucks end up in the 6th seed, they're the bracket buster nobody wants to deal with. Giannis and Dame in a Game 7, that's the stuff of nightmares. A few years ago, teams like Minnesota and New York weren't real threats. But this is 2025. This year's playoffs aren't about history, they're about who's ready to deliver when it matters. Buckle up, because this bracket is about to get ridiculous. And that's the playoff picture. Chaos is coming and we are here for it. Who's got the best path? Who's walking straight into disaster? And which team is about to get their hearts broken in spectacular fashion? Let us know your boldest predictions in the comments. Are the Knicks finally for real? Can LeBron and Luka pull off a miracle run? Is OKC about to take over the league? Drop your hot takes below. If you like the breakdown, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next Wild playoff update. Because trust us, this postseason is about to get ridiculous.